Hi, Andrew here, and today to bring you yet more of Fkatzoid's dishonesty. Yes, I know it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. It'll come as no surprise that is to do with the sunrise at Margate. Now, I'm working on quite a lengthy video at the moment, which details what I believe are 13 different directions that he declared the sunrise was occurring in. But today I will just focus on the one that he chose to make a video about, and this is the one that will be known as the 122 degree observation. Now, for some background, on December the 19th, I made this community post. It was about a day after Fkatzoid first arrived at his holiday destination, and I'd managed to work out where he was staying and took a bit of a guess at where the sun was going to rise the next morning. And I found out that I've actually probably got it just a tiny little bit wrong, but at the time I wasn't really quite sure where he was standing on his rooftop courtyard. So there are two parts to the prediction. One is visually where the sun will appear in relation to the buildings around him, and the second one is what is the measured azimuth, the direction of the sunrise. And down here, hard to read in the kind of blurry writing, but I've got here the star is about where the sun will rise. So I wasn't quite exactly sure where it would be, but it's pretty close. At 118 degrees true or 146 magnetic. We won't worry about the magnetic too much, but 118 degrees true. So one prediction, the sun was going to be around about here from where he was standing there, and that it was going to be at 118 degrees. Now, Fkatzoid did make observations for those two types of predictions. Over here on the right, we have his prediction, his observation of visually where the sun rose. Ignore those numbers there on the top. Just this is showing the alignment of the sun with the surrounding buildings. And the other observation he made was using his phone compass to find the direction of the sunrise. And this is the one that I'm going to focus on first. Now, I've already pointed out in a community post about a week ago that the phone was probably not, in fact, definitely not pointing directly at the sun, despite his assertions that it was. And I'm going to go through that again. Now, there's a couple of problems in determining that is, firstly, he didn't ever get the phone and the sun in the same frame of his camera. Makes it very difficult to do a basic check of whether it was facing the right direction. And the second thing, which we'll see in a moment, is during this footage here where he shows the compass and then lifts up his camera to see the sun, he wobbles a little bit to the right, but when he gets up to the sun, he actually gets back probably correctly aligned over the top of the compass. And now we'll just go and watch that footage for a moment.
That's what the globe claims, guys. That's what the globe claims the sun should be. Let me show you where it is.
122, 23? Oh, yeah, I get you. Yeah.
And there's the sun.
Okay, so this is after he's finally lifted his phone up to see the sun. And it's probably pretty much well aligned with the compass that's down below on the stool. And even he agrees that this is probably pretty well aligned as well. And he asserts that the sun and the right side of this pot down here are aligned with the phone down below, and it all goes through this satellite dish here. So I'm just going to draw a line here showing that alignment. So his phone should be down here at the bottom of the yellow line, pointing directly at the sun. But we're about to see that it is not doing that at all. So as he lifted his camera up, there was this one moment where the compass and the pot were all in the one shot, and this has been really helpful in determining that it wasn't actually pointing at the sun correctly. So he, from that previous shot, the line from the sun should be coming down here, aligned with the pot and the satellite dish and out to the sun. But you can see pretty clearly right from the start here that the phone is not pointing up that yellow line. And I'm going to show you which way it is pointing. And first of all, I'm looking at the right side of the phone. We can see a couple of white sections there where you can just see the side of the phone. I'm going to line them up. Now, if you watch down the bottom here as I line this line up, that's too far to the left, that's too far to the right, that's probably around about in the middle. I'll do the same on the left side. A little bit harder to find on the left side. We've got some just little different shades of grey there, not 50, just 2. And we'll do the same thing. Too far to the left, too far to the right. That looks like somewhere around about the middle. And lastly, And I'm going to change colours. Let's go blue. We'll try and get a line running straight up through the compass rose here and through the centre of the phone. A little bit tough to do, but somewhere around about there, and I've placed it in between those two red lines. And so as you can see, the phone is definitely pointing a little bit to the right of where it needs to be pointing there, to the edge of that pot. And in rough terms, I'm just going to throw another colour on here, black, why not? In rough terms, between the side of the pot there and this beam that supports the glass of the balcony, it's about a third of the way along there. Okay, so back on this shot, we will put that black line across here between there and there, and the blue line, which from that last shot is around about a third of the way across and going directly upwards, so probably like that, pretty roughly. So as we can see, the phone is not pointing here through the pot, through the satellite dish to the sun, but it is pointing here through somewhere along this little short sidewall and missing the sun by a little bit. So we can go over to Google Earth and plot that out. Now, first of all, roughly speaking, that circle is around about where it's doing the observation, where the phone is sitting on the wooden stool. Now, let's throw a line from the middle of that. Whoops. Let's change that to that. Let's throw a line from the middle of that through the centre of this little short wall, and we find that the angle there is, well, strangely enough, I got it on exactly on 122 degrees. Well, maybe a little bit of a fluke, but is definitely not 118 degrees. Instead, let's save that one, and we go back and look at the alignment that should have happened. The alignment should be just a little bit to the side of the corner and through that satellite dish, so just a little left of the corner of that wall. And we throw another line there, going there. Just going to go a little bit left of the wall. There's a little bit of a white, let's come in here. There's a little bit of a white mark there, which is probably the satellite dish. And so we put that through there. And the direction there is, well, 119, so that's a lot closer to 118. Not perfect, but definitely shows that the compass is pointing somewhere around about 122 degrees and not 118 degrees. And so on to the visual observation. My prediction was that the sun would appear somewhere roughly in line with the front end of this dividing wall. And Fkatzoid's photo of the actual sunrise, well, it shows it clearly somewhere in the middle of the rooftop of the front apartment. So, was my prediction wrong? No, of course it wasn't. Strangely enough, for a channel that calls itself Fkatzoid's Perspective, he doesn't seem to understand the effect of perspective. Yes, these two photos were taken at two slightly different locations, and it's enough of a difference to make a noticeable effect on where the sun appears in relation to the foreground buildings. Yes, the photo on the left was taken while he was standing a few metres along the side wall of his rooftop. Down here is the corner and the plant in the corner. Now, the photo on the right that he took, how do we know where it was taken? Well, conveniently enough, Fkatzoid live streamed himself taking this photo.
Well,
just so people can see it's real and taking extra photos.
Hey, beautiful.
Definitely.
Gotta sound right.
What's your Vic say?
They like, come man, me wanna go home. Hey.
Wow, okay.
So now that we know where both those photos were taken, let's have a look at which way 118 degrees is. So, first of all, that's about where Fkatzoid was standing when I made prior predictions. And we will run a line from the centre of that at 118 degrees. See there, about 118 degrees. And sure enough, it runs through the front of this dividing wall. And that's how I made my prediction. Now, where he was standing when he took his photograph, somewhere around about here where that wooden stool was located. Now, let's see what happens if we run a line out at 118 degrees. There we go, that's close enough. Sure enough, we go out through the corner of the courtyard just missing on the left side of the corner of this wall here. The satellite dish is around about there, and it goes out through just to the left of centre of the front wall of the front apartment. So how does that compare to where the sun actually rose? And there we go. 118 degrees from where this photo was taken is along here, not 122 as stated by Fkatzoid. So at this point, I would almost forgive Fkatzoid for just being a little bit too confident in his sloppy work. The compass wasn't aligned properly, but he found the result he was looking for. It was a few degrees out from the globe prediction, so therefore the globe was wrong. He could slap the numbers on his photo and call it a day. But then this happened.
This is where I was on. That was that balcony. This was, well, the carport on top of the balcony without the carport, and the other one. Where we've observed it, where I was on the table, I had it on the wooden chair, to the left, that would be what the globe claims. See, I'm taking it off. That's where the globe claims, 118, and this is what we observed, 122 degrees southeast.
So he's put these two lines onto Google Earth, and the one on the left he has labelled as 118, and the one on the right he has labelled as 122. But let's find out what the directions of these lines actually are. So, firstly, the one on the right, we can see he starts here at the corner of his rooftop, goes through what we're calling the satellite dish, and out just towards the left end of the front apartment. So we'll go onto Google Earth and do the same thing ourselves, going here from the corner, through the satellite dish, through just to the left of centre of the front apartment, and sure enough, if we wiggle this around, we can find that that direction is 118 degrees, and he has just called it 122. So, what of the left one? It goes again out of the corner of his balcony and just goes over the corner of this grey section. So let's do the same, going from here through the corner of this grey section. And we find that the line that he labelled 118 degrees is actually about 110 degrees. And so there we have some very sloppy work and outright lies from Fkatzoid. Not that we really expect anything else from him. And of course, it's futile trying to get him to back up his claims with some proper evidence because, well, to co-opt his favourite phrase at the moment, it's a case of trust me, bro, the compass was aligned. Trust me, bro, these directions are what I say they are. And trust me, bro, the globe prediction was proven wrong and the globe has been falsified.